Hi everyone, I'm Lunar back again with another Awaken Chaos Era video. In today's video, I'll be going over the 4 new heroes that was released today on the 7th of July 2022. So let's check them out together. So this is the update notice that we have received. And these are the updates. Basically, they have added 2 new legendary heroes who are Thor, who is a water affinity hero, and Aubry, a dark affinity hero. Plus, they also added 2 more new epic heroes who are Aurea and Jabez. Basically, both of them are also dark affinity heroes. So based from my observation here, they are currently populating the dark affinity heroes. And perhaps maybe on the next update, they will be adding more light affinity heroes. Since both the light and dark affinity heroes are pretty low compared to the other affinity heroes such as like the fire, wood and water. So let's check out the character design of as well as their skills for these 4 new heroes. Wow, look at his background animation. Looks so cool. He has a werewolf design, however the name does not synergize with his character design because when you hear the name Thor, you imagine lightning effects, you know, like a hammer and those sort of things, just like the Avengers. However, this is a totally opposite of the character design with the name. So as we can see his design, he's like a werewolf and he has a unique weapon. It looks like an infested sword that has a pulsing like heartbeat. And he has a dragon skeleton head that's trying to chew this living metal sword, and it seems that it's stuck to his hand. Yeah, it looks like, you know, this one reminds me about the Zerg infestation that infests the Terran outpost. Pretty cool. I'm not sure how does this works out with his skill. And he also has 2 small swords behind his back. And that's basically about him. And he has a scary looking face with like a Terminator laser eye here. Pretty cool. Alright, so let's check out his overall stats. He has an S rating for attack, A rating for health and defense, and B rating for speed and critical rate. Okay, so basically I think he's an attacker. He's good survivability as an attacker hero. So let's check out his first trait. So his trait is known as Werewolf. Converts 60% of health damage dealt to this character from enemy attacks into delusive health for 1 turn. Okay, so basically he gains this unique buff, which is an unremovable buff and unique to this hero only, delusive health. And once he have this buff on himself, then it converts 50% of the health damage taken into true health. So assuming the enemy hero dealt 1000 damage, 60% of that 1000 damage would be 600. And out of that 600, half of them will be converted as true health. Does it work that way? And apart from the conversion of the health, it also grants him 1 block at the start of the battle. So this block reduces the damage taken by 50%, similar to the epic hero Urzak. And once you ascend him, I'm not sure whether it's 2 ascension or 5 ascensions, this will increase the conversion of the health damage taken into true health from 50% to 100%, and also increases the block by 2. Alright. So perhaps the description of this werewolf trait is not so explanatory. Perhaps the Ace developers would have to reword this to make us, the players, understand better, because I'm not sure about what is true health means. Because I know health, but this is true health. Is it like something similar to shield, which is on top of our hero health? For those players who have already obtained him and already tested him out, please comment down in the video description below to help us understand how this trait works. Unless I get this hero, I will not be able to see how this trait works for this delusive health and true health. Unless someone can explain to me how this works. Alright, so let's move on to the next skill, which is WereFrenzy, which is Thor's basic ability. Grants a focus boost before launching 2 attacks for 120% total damage against an enemy, with each attack a 100% chance of applying bleeding for 2 turns. So this focus boost is similar to the legendary hero that Ciara and Hector also has. So this is a good passive focus boost, because normally when you build attacker heroes, you just dump in as much attack, critical rate, critical damage, and then followed by speed or precision, but not so much about focus, unless you're building him as an attacker and debuffer hero role. And I think this skill distribution can be rewarded better just by removing this 100% chance, because it's a guaranteed to apply the bleeding if he has sufficient focus. So they could probably reword this as launching 2 attacks, each attack deals 60% damage, and apply 1 bleeding debuff or something like that. Alright, so bleeding is not really a popular debuff, same goes with Ignite, because those deals very little damage as is based on the attack stats. So yeah, because like most heroes such as like Scarlet, Thelma, Bachelor, Scarlet, this debuff does not do much damage unless you are planning to use them for a lengthy battle such as like guild boss. Then only you will see the effect stacks up, but it will take a long time to stack, as well as currently poison debuff is much better compared to bleeding, because that one deals based on the enemy's max health, and it scales very well for high level dungeons or void tower difficulties. Alright, so let's move on to his second ability here, which is Pounce, a passive ability which allows him to counter attacks against any attacker affected by bleeding. So if the attacker who attacks him has this bleeding negative effect, he can counter attack him. To strike a team member with Blood Rage, I'm not sure what is Blood Rage, because there is no skill here named as Blood Rage. There's only Blood Moon. Probably is it referring to this skill? But probably that would be too overpowered, because that means his counter attack can keep on triggering his ultimate ability. Unless he's referring to his basic ability WereFrenzy. So probably the Ace developers will need to reword this skill. Alright, so I think it will be highly probable to be his basic ability. Alright, next will be deals 100% damage plus true damage equal to 10% of the enemy's max health, or 3% of max health against bosses. Okay, probably, but still, 3% is like similar to a poison debuff at the cost of his 10% of health. So probably what this means is, if he has like, if assume that he has only like 10 health left, it shouldn't decrease his health by 640. It should be based on, I think this health cost is scales based on his current health. So if he has like 10 health left, that means only 1 health will be deducted. So I don't believe this will kill his counter attack, will sacrifice his life. Alright. His third ability will be Blood Moon, which has a 4 turn skill cooldown. So this ultimate ability deals 200% damage to the target while ignoring all positive effects on the enemy. Oh, this one is similar to Vance, just that Vance was already nerfed, and Vance only ignores certain buffs such as like, I think shield buff. So this one ignores all positive effects. So this one will be great against like heroes who have death immunity buff, like Dark Nicholas, or who's that girl? Garunel? Yep, Garunel. That would be useful, okay. Plus a bonus Lunar Instinct. What is Lunar Instinct? Probably this one is another skill. I think it's referring to this one. Yeah. So we'll go to that later on. So basically trigger this Lunar Instinct combo against all enemies, dealing 100% damage and inflicting an unblockable bleeding for 2 turns if in delusive health. So basically I think in order to get this delusive health, he needs to be hit by enemy first. Then he gains this buff. Then he'll be able to inflict unblockable bleeding, but I don't know. But I don't think this one is really needed if you are just dealing massive amount of damage without relying heavily on the debuff. Okay, let's see. Alright, so let's check out this Lunar Instinct extra skill. So basically this one is deals target to a single enemy, and this Lunar Instinct to all enemies, like it's like an AoE attack. Okay, let's check this one. Lunar Instinct deals 100% damage to all enemies and applies an unblockable bleeding to the target for 2 turns. Isn't it the same thing? So this one also performs an AoE attack. Ah. Okay. I think these two are like joined together based on the skill description here. So basically, so to summarize Thor's skill, the Werewolf, basically he's some kind of attacker, damage dealer that is also a debuffer that can place bleeding effect. And his bleeding effect, if you want to rely on his bleeding effect, you need to stack as high as amount of attack stats, similar to like how people build Garunal, high amount of attack stats and less amount of like critical damage. The attack stats will be prioritized. And based from his skill kit, it's mostly used for an arena, and not much for like PvE content. Because PvE content, the enemies there will have massive amount of health, defense, as well as health and defense, and bleeding effect does not do much damage to those tanky heroes. And possibly this one is to counter those meta like Dark Nicholas and Garno, or those heroes that apply like block damage, similar to like Celestial Cane and Mary. Okay. So Thor's skills is not as exciting compared to Garno, because Garno is like a tank nuker. So perhaps this guy is to counter certain heroes. Maybe it's to take on the role of Vance, because Vance is already nerfed and he couldn't counter Dark Nicholas anymore because his skill does not bypass or ignore those positive effect. Alright, so let's check out the next hero. So Aubrey is a dark hero. He looks like a wizard with a lot of pointy spikes on his clothes. He has a pointy helmet with a pointy shoulder pad, and he wields some kind of like a is it a mace? A dangling mace with like a lamp, as well as a small dagger with a book. If heroes carry a book, probably they are not really a damage dealer, more like a wizard or supporter or debuffer. And he has some potion views on his waist and a long staff behind his back. Pretty cool design. Alright, so let's check out his overall stats. So Aubrey has a S rating for speed, which is 135, which is very fast. A rating for attack and health, and B rating for defense and critical rate. So probably from this stats overview, I can know that he's probably a debuffer or buffer to boost up his allies to go first in the battle, to do something, or to protect them, or to debuff the enemies to prevent them from doing a certain ability or whatnot. So this makes me really curious. So let's check out his first ability, which is his trait, Revenantal, which heals any team member under enemy attack below 50% health for 15% of max health. Cooldown 1 round. Wait. Does this refer to his max health or the team member's health? If assuming that if it's Aubrey's health, if you stack high amount of health on him, then all of the squishy heroes will benefit a lot based from his health. Otherwise, if it's based on the each team member's health, then the healing will be not as much, because it's only like 15% of their health. So probably this one would be referring to the team member's health when their health drops below 50%. Wait, This makes him the first Dark Affinity healer in the game. Wow. Because currently, right, we have Blackhorn as the Water Affinity healer, Mitasia as the Wood Affinity healer, Florence as the Fire Affinity healer, and now we have Aubry, the Dark Affinity healer. And I guess that the next hero that they will be releasing will be a Light Affinity hero as a healer as well, based from the pattern of the heroes that they release. That's pretty cool. Alright, so once Aubry is ascended, not sure it's 2 or 5, hopefully the Ace developers also mention here how many ascension that the heroes require. So once he is ascended, basically his healing will be the same. It will now remove a negative effect from a random team member at the start of the turn. So this one is like similar to Celestial Cane trait, which removes a random negative effect. But Celestial Cane one is better because it removes 2 negative effects from random allies. And once Celestial Cane is ascended, it removes all negative effect. Remove 1 negative effect from all team members. So this one is like a bonus, which is pretty cool. Probably this one you can use him in like what's it called? Ash Magistra, because Ash Magistra boss applies the bomb debuff. Alright, so let's move on to his next skill. Ghostblade, his basic ability that deals 100% damage to an enemy and heals whichever team member has the lowest percentage of health remaining for 8% of max health. So this is the total opposite of Mitasia. So Mitasia applies shield on the ally who has the lowest percentage of health, but this one, Ghostblade, heals the team member instead of applying the shield. So this is pretty cool. So probably if you pair Mitasia as well as Aubry in the same team, wow, you can make a super tanky team. Cool. Alright, so basically his basic ability heals the team member. His special ability, known as the Soul Devotional, which is a 3-turn skill cooldown, applies attack up and critical damage up to a team member for 2 turns and a bonus turn at the end of the round to a team member. Wait, this one reminds me of another epic hero. I think it's Hassel. Hassel also applies this, but he provides immediate bonus turn. For Aubry, is bonus turn at the end of the round. So probably I hope that this AI will apply to the hero that has the highest attack stats. That will make it quite good for like a pairing with a Natalia in Ash Magistra. Oh, this is pretty cool. Alright, next one would be Consumptive Rhapsody, which is a 5-turn skill cooldown ultimate ability that deals 150% damage to all enemies and applies no positive effect for 2 turns, grants team-wide immune for 2 turns. Wow. This is a great counter against defensive meta teams who relies heavily on buff. So let's say, right, if you use let's say the enemy team has maybe like Tashir or Hakrin or Blackhorn or Bran. Using Aubry in this scenario, those heroes will not be able to apply any positive effect. Wow, this is so cool. And this one also grants team-wide immune for 2 turns. So if you want to counter Aubry, perhaps maybe you want to use Hassel here to apply the AoE remove positive effect to counter Aubry to remove the immune buff. And perhaps you can build a lower resistance team and a higher agility team, because now, right, your heroes will not need to build a high amount of resistance because you can rely on Aubry's immune positive effect. Probably you can build this. You can use him in arena as well as like PvE content. This is really cool. So based from his skill kit, you can use him for speed farming dungeon, such as like Ash Magistra, as well as for arena. So he has dual purpose here. So probably I will build him with high focus high focus or maybe resistance as well. Usually it will be high speed and focus, so you want to rely on his speed to go first in the battle to protect your heroes with this immune buff and prevent enemies from applying this prevent enemies from applying any buff to themselves. Cool. Alright, so let's move on to the epic heroes. There's one epic hero in the Soul Plunders, so let's check him out. So this is Jabez. Currently he does not have any animation at the start of his turn here. So currently he is equipped with a bow, a very thin bow. Is it a metallic bow or wooden bow here? Okay, and he has some arrows behind his back. Very simple design, and with like some kind of like wooden armor with a lot of purple theme. Interesting. Alright, so let's check out his overall stats. He has an A rating for health, A rating for attack, B rating for health, speed and critical rate, and C rating for defense. So he's pretty much an attacker hero. Very squishy attacker hero with not much health and defense. So I wonder how the Ace developers will make him survive in the battle. Okay, checking out his trait, which is known as Bowspirit. Any non-boss enemy to gain a bonus turn must suffer an immediate counter attack by this character using the ultimate ability. Cooldown is 1 round. Oh wow. So currently his trait, right, is a great meta counter against arena teams that relies heavily on bonus turns such as like Hassel, Mary, Garunel. So this is really good. I can see you can see the pattern from the Ace developers. So they're using the hero skills as a new counter against for the previous hero that they have introduced in the game, which is quite an interesting move because I was playing from Red Shadow Legends background, and what the developers over there do is they introduce a lot of RNG artifacts, such as like artifacts that allow them to have like a 30% chance to prevent the hero from dying. I'm not sure, is it 30% or 50%? There's some kind of artifact that does this RNG effects. However, for the Ace developers here, instead of using a lot of RNG in the game, they implement a different mechanic, which is to use heroes instead to counter another hero's ability, which I find this very interesting and much better implementation. Okay, so this one is a great counter against the bonus turn meta team. And once you ascend Jabez, this allows him to grant an attack up buff and shield up buff with strength based on this character's attack for 2 turns. So this one gives him some survivability to survive the enemy nuke attack in case at least the shield buff allows him to have a chance to survive the enemy nuke. Alright, so let's move on to his next ability. So his basic ability is known as the Darkshot, that deals 120% damage to an enemy with a 50% chance or 100% chance if this character's attack is higher than the target's, of reducing this character's ultimate ability cooldown by 1 turn. So this one does not do much, just do damage and reduce the ultimate skill cooldown. His next ability is his special ability, Souleater. Counter attacks deflection damage, dealing 150% damage to attackers while reducing ultimate ability cooldown by 1 turn. Grants 30 agility, and this passive skill has a cooldown of 1 turn. I think this one is like a passive active skill. Wow. So this one is like a total opposite of Zlux, because Zlux, right, his passive skill grants him precision, so he can attack heroes who are stronger affinity to him, such as like a fire affinity hero. However, for Jabez, he gains 30 agility. So with this additional agility, right, he has a chance to deflect enemy attacks, especially against the wood, fire, and water, because he's currently a dark affinity hero. So having additional agility here would be beneficial to increase his chances to get this deflection. Deflection will have because deflection will reduce the incoming damage by 50% also prevents the damage from being a critical damage. This allows him to survive even better in arena. So based from his passive skill here, I will build him with high amount of agility, similar to like Lydia, and build him with high amount of attack, critical rate, and critical damage. You do not need speed on him because you want to rely on his counter attack. So this one is like a mixture of like Z-Lux, but the opposite of Z-Lux plus Lydia. Counter attack with deflection here, which is pretty cool. And this one also reduced the ultimate ability cooldown by 1 turn. So having his basic as well as his special to reduce his ultimate will be super beneficial here. So his ultimate ability here, which is a Chaos Rain, that has a 4 turn skill cooldown, deals 300% damage to an enemy that scales based on the difference between these characters and the target's initial attack. So this one is similar to Garunal ultimate mechanics, and grants invincible for 1 turn upon defeating an enemy and cannot critically hit. So this invincible is opposite of death immunity, so he will still retain some health because he will not receive any damage with this buff. I'm not sure what does this mean, cannot critically hit. Does it mean he cannot critically hit an enemy with this skill? Or is it means because this does not make sense if it's applying to him, because he already has this invincible buff to protect himself. He will not receive any damage. So probably this skill description can be reworded better. Alright, so basically based from Jabez's overall skill kit, it's mainly an arena hero to counter the bonus turn meta, which is quite useful. Alright, so let's move on to the 4th hero, which is Aurea.
The Icelands taught me how to live for today.
So Aurea does not have any skill animation similar to Jabez, so basically this is her overall character design. She equips a long sword, which is kind of scary looking. It looks like an evil eye here. And she wears a cape to comfort her in this wintry environment, to keep her warm. And she has something strange on her hand. Seems like it's been corrupted, similar to Thor the Werewolf. It's like it's been infested by evil energy. There's some long fingernails or claws here. Okay, so let's check out Aurea's overall stats. She has an A rating for health and defense. Alright, so basically maybe she's a supporter hero. B rating for attack, speed, and critical rate. Oh, so this is kind of interesting. So this one is not an attacker hero role. This one is mostly like a tanker hero because it emphasizes on health and defense for more survivability rather than speed or attack here. Alright, so let's check out her trait. So Aurea's trait is known as Deformed and Enchantment. Inflicts taunt for 1 turn to whichever enemy has the highest speed at the start of the battle. So basically this one is to counter wind strikes or any heroes that has high speed, maybe like is it Audrey or Aubrey? But the Dark Affinity legendary hero apply the immune buff on himself, so he'll be immune to Aurea's taunt. So she's not a good counter against the legendary hero there. Okay. So once you ascend her, she will now target the hero who has the highest speed and attack at the start of the battle. So probably this will not target wind strikes, probably the attacker hero which is buffed with speed and attack up buff. That's cool. So this one is a great counter against speed nuker team. So based from her trait alone, right, I know that this character is designed for arena. She can be used for tag team arena, traditional arena, and as well as the real-time arena. Let's move on to her basic ability. Great Slash deals 80% damage to an enemy, with a 60% chance to apply Unhealable for 2 turns. Play this is to counter heroes who rely heavily on healing to heal themselves. So with this, I will build her with high focus with some health and defense. Next will be her special ability, Savager Strike, which has a 4-turn skill cooldown, deals 100% damage to an enemy, and applies taunt and attack down for 2 turns. Wow. Wait, so she's like a taunter. Does this only works one time or at the start of the battle only? So most probably is for arena usage. And you can use her special ability to also taunt again. Using against the heroes that poses the highest risk to your team. So this one is great counter against the offensive hero. And last but not least, her ultimate ability, Shadow of the Savage, which has a 4-turn skill cooldown, removes 2 positive effects from an enemy, and deals 150% damage to the target, and applies taunt for 1 turn. Grants spike restoration for 3 turns. Wow, this is interesting. We are now seeing a new buff that they have introduced in the game, spike restoration. So each time you hit the hero, right, they will instantly gain 50% of their max health, rather than waiting for a turn, similar to like continuous heal. They don't need to waste turns to gain 50% healing from continuous heal. For this spike restoration is instantly gained when the enemy attacks you. Oh, this is really powerful. Alright, so based from her skill kit, mostly arena hero. So we have 4 new heroes in the game. 3 of them are most specifically designed for arena or player versus player environment, and only the Dark Affinity legendary hero, who is Audrey. Audrey or Aubrey? Let me check again. Aubrey. How similar to Audrey. So only Aubrey is one of the heroes here who is useful for 2 types of areas, which are PvP and PvE, while the rest is mostly for PvP. Alright, so that's the end of this video. Let me know down in the comments below which of these 4 heroes excite you the most. Is it Thor the Werewolf? Or is it Aubrey the Wizard Healer? Or the epic hero Aurea, who is a tanky crowd controller hero? Or the last hero, who is a Jabez, who is an attacker hero that possesses high agility to deflect and counter against enemies who have lots of bonus turn. Thanks for watching my video. And if you enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and ring the notification bell to stay up to date whenever I upload a new video to this channel. If you'd like to learn more about Awaken Chaos Era content, you can visit my website at ayumilove.net, and you can support me through PayPal or being a patron by visiting my channel at patreon.com/ayumilove. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!